The first ballot I ever cast was for Ralph Nader in 2000. And while it's true that Al Gore was ahead of the pack when it came to climate change, I had to vote for Ralph Nader because, Joe Biafra voted for Ralph Nader. So what are you going to do? Since then, I've come to realize that Green Party candidates in presidential elections are there to empower fascism. That they are there to help Republicans win. That's why Republicans fund their campaigns. I've waited 20 years for somebody to debunk that claim, and no one has yet. But lucky for me, Cornel West is running for president under the Green Party banner, and he's going to attempt to debunk that claim. Let's see if he can do it.
Well, she comes out swinging, though.
Yeah. What do you have to say to those people who, and also the people who still blame Ralph Nader for George W. Bush? And then, well, I'll ask you the last question after that. I don't want to.
But I just find it quite amusing. That the Democratic Party could produce such mediocre and milquetoast candidates. Gore could not carry his own congressional district in Tennessee, but no, he doesn't bear responsibility.
Al Gore did not have a congressional district in Tennessee because Al Gore was not in Congress. Al Gore was vice president of the United States for 8 years. But it's true that he did not win Tennessee, the red state of Tennessee. Obama did not win that state. Biden did not win that state. Hillary Clinton did not win that state. It is a red state. I don't know if Cornel West is admonishing Al Gore for not being right-wing enough. Is that his complaint with Biden? He's not right-wing enough? Because he's not going to win Tennessee. Tennessee is gerrymandered. Tennessee suppresses votes because Republicans do not believe that we should lift every voice. This is called lying by omission. And you're going to see it, you're going to hear it a few times in this clip.
One congressional district in Tennessee, but no, he doesn't bear responsibility. Brother Ralph was one of the towering figures in the history of the country in terms of his commitment to poor and working people.
Because he gave us the seatbelt. Ralph Nader gave us the seatbelt, so he's a towering something or other. Yeah, Ralph Nader also gave us the war in Iraq, because I happen to have some numbers here. Bush beat Gore by 537 votes in Florida, which decided the presidential election. Nader won 97,421 votes in Florida. They did exit polling. That's something that Cornel West has not mentioned in his little media tour when he's asked this question about being a spoiler. He claims that there are no Green Party voters who will vote for Democrats. But in fact, according to exit polling, 25% of Nader voters would have voted for George W. Bush, and 38% would have voted for Al Gore. That gives Gore a 12,665 vote advantage over Bush if Ralph Nader had not won. Now, I'm bad at math. I can barely count Dracula, but 12,665, I'm pretty sure, is more than 537. Now, maybe Cornel West, with his Harvard education, never figured out Google. And he sincerely believes that he will not be a spoiler, that Green Party candidates do not decide elections in favor of Republicans. But that's odd, because in 2004, Ralph Nader ran again. And in 2004, 78 prominent Americans, progressives, who supported Nader in 2000, signed an open letter to voters urging them not to vote for Ralph Nader, to instead vote for John Kerry. For people, this is a quote from the letter, for people seeking progressive social change in the U.S., removing George W. Bush from office should be their top priority. Once again, this was signed by Cornel West. Once again, Cornel West is lying by omission.
Poor and working people. Or same with Sister Jill. She
Right,
gets
Jill
what,
Stein,
1.07% of the vote with Brother Barack, but she is responsible for. I mean, you say to yourself, please, though. I mean, it's as if they think these neoliberal candidates own votes.
Right.
You're taking my votes. No, you have to earn them.
No, actually, they don't have to earn their votes. They don't have to earn your votes. Most politicians do not have to earn your votes. If you don't vote for them, they will seek their support elsewhere. It's Bill Clinton's entire career. When you vote for a Democrat, you build a power base. Then you use that power as leverage. That's the difference between Joe Biden from the 90s and Joe Biden today. You know what that difference is? Bernie Sanders. I want to thank Cornel West for going a full minute without mentioning John Coltrane. You know, these references are getting a little out of hand. Like doing 200 references in a half-hour talk. It's kind of for the birds. I mean, if Cornel West is talking to Anderson Cooper and he happens to use the phrase everyday people, it is not then absolutely necessary to point out that Sly and the Family Stone had a song called Everyday People. I mean, unless you're trying to appeal to one-issue voters, and those voters' one issue is the current status of Sly and the Family Stone. I like John Coltrane. I do. His version of My Favorite Things, that's one of my favorite things. But John Coltrane is not going to protect my right to vote because John Coltrane is no longer alive. John Coltrane is not going to get that girl out of jail in Nebraska. That girl that's doing 3 months because she took an abortion pill when she was 17. You know what would have prevented that? Not voting for Jill Stein.
Right.
You're taking my votes. No, you have to earn them.
Right.
You have to earn them. Generate some policies that steal my thunder.
Right,
Cut
yeah.
back on your militarism. Where's your anti-poverty? I'm an abolitionist when it comes to poverty. I know you won't be an abolitionist. Well, you cut child poverty in half. I give Brother Biden credit for
Brother Biden.
That was very important. During a moment of tremendous crisis, the relief bill cut child poverty in half. The bill expires. Child poverty goes right back up again. Jeez.
Yeah, another lie by omission. You know, lying by omission is a symptom of narcissism. The bill expired. It was set to be renewed through the Build Back Better bill. That part was blocked by Joe Manchin and his buddies in the Republican Party. Cornel West seems to like to give passes to the Republican Party. It's almost like it's almost as if he sets the bar higher for Democrats, which is a familiar tactic by the right. You know, they can fly in private jets, but Bernie Sanders can't. You've heard it before. You know, some left-wing streamer can buy a house, but or can't buy a house because he's a socialist. You've heard this before. Speaking of buddies in the Republican Party, Cornel West has a lot of buddies in the Republican Party, and they're oftentimes comedians, and he compares them to George Carlin and Richard Pryor. You know, if Cornel West, this is my advice, if Cornel West is talking to his pals, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, Bill Maher, Jimmy Dore, and it's a bad idea to then, because they're comedians, compare them to Richard Pryor or George Carlin, because it makes it sound like George Carlin and Richard Pryor are the only other two comedians you've ever heard of. I'm just saying that as a comedian, it feels a little insulting and feels like you're trivializing comedy a bit.
bill expires, child poverty goes right back up again. See, you say, please, I have no patience for this kind of indifference and nonchalant attitude toward vulnerable people, no matter where they are or who they are.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really have a lot of patience for your indifference, Cornel West, to my plight. It's often painted as fear. People who refuse to vote third party and instead vote for an cast an anti-fascist ballot against the Republicans by voting Democrat. It's their form of voter shaming. Here's the problem with that, though. Indifference to fascism is not fearlessness. It's complicity. Another thing that me and Cornel West have in common is we both lived in New Haven, Connecticut at different points. Cornel West lived there because he taught at Yale. I lived there because I had a job as a columnist for the New Haven Advocate. I made $4,000 a year and lived in my car. And this dude, this clown, wants to take away my Social Security. This clown worth $5 million who's been in a Matrix movie has the audacity to dictate who should be allowed to have an abortion and who shouldn't. Because he wants to whack off his ego and sell some more books. I got a quote from Ralph Nader when he was asked if he helped George W. Bush win the presidency. Nader said, "A bumbling Texas governor would galvanize the environmental community as never before." Galvanize them against who? An authoritarian regime or a representative democracy of milquetoast Democrats? You ever notice that the people who talk about revolution always seem to want to have a revolution under the worst circumstances possible for a revolution? Isn't that weird? Do you think that's a coincidence? You think maybe they're a little insincere? Why would you want to make things as difficult as possible for you? Why would you want to get into a fist fight with a tank when you can get into a fist fight with a 12-year-old? Revolution is an uphill battle, but you constantly meet these people who want to vote third party because they want to turn that hill into a cliff for some reason.